Hello and welcome to your Wednesday Advanced Training Call. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. And before we bring on our guest speaker for today, I want to remind you of 10 things to expect when building your USANA business. Number one, there will be ups and downs, just like anything. Number two, success or failure is up to you. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you, not because of your upline, not because of USANA, not because of the comp plan. Success or failure is up to you. Number three, the goal is for you to become independent and be an independent leader for your team, and you don't need your upline anymore. Okay, that's number three. Number four, make your plan on the weekends. Do it, review, and make adjustments. Plan, do, review, and adjust. Number five, it's going to take time. It's going to take 1 year to become competent at the skills to do this. It's going to take 3 years to develop a significant part-time income. It's going to take 5 years to develop a significant full-time income and 7 years to become world-class. And it can happen faster, but it's still going to take time. Number six, it takes consistent work and hustle. You have got to be consistent week in and week out, just like you would at a job. Number seven, you're going to have to grow and get outside of your comfort zone. Number eight, mental toughness is necessary. Number nine, the grass is not greener in other companies. The grass is greener where you water it. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is 28 years strong with over $2.5 billion paid to its associates. It's given me and my wife a full-time income for over 15 years, as well as thousands of people around the world, because it works if you work. And bonus tip, amateurs sell products, but professionals sell the vision. Make sure you're sharing these videos, these YouTube recordings, these stories with your clients, with your existing associates, with your prospects. Because when you hear stories like April London's today, you see that USANA is so much more than just a great product. It's a great community. It's a great income opportunity. It's great personal growth and development. And few have done it as well as foundation executive, two-star diamond, April London out of Utah. April, welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much, Jared. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're so glad that you're here. And I just want to, first of all, just thank you for being such a great example of longevity with USANA. I know before we hit the record button, you were saying you just celebrated your 27th year with USANA. And I love your story because you started at the age of 18. And to me, that's like never prejudge somebody who is young, because look what you've become in the company, and you never quit and you never stopped, and life happened and you kept going, and life happened again and you kept going. And that's kind of the whole point, right? So we want to hear your story. We want to know like what your life was like prior to USANA. Of course, you started at such a young age. So how has USANA supported you through all of your life journey to date? And you have about 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end.
It's going to take about 4 days.
Yeah, you have 15 minutes to share your whole life story. So
27 years. Okay, no problem. So life before USANA, I was probably just like everybody else. I was going to school. I was working. I grew up playing ball. When I was a young kid, my dad just taught me, like, you need to work really, really hard. So in high school, I wanted to buy a new car. And so I got a second job in high school. I was still playing ball. So life was really, really busy for me, just going to school and playing ball and working to have that new car. It was a Toyota Tercel, right? But so hard work was never an issue. I loved to work. I, grew up farming a little bit and with animals. And so there were always chores. There were always lots of fun things there. So then I decided in high school, I was playing soccer, and I got to go to early college and play soccer. And so still working, and then scholarship obviously runs out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I got to get like a third job to support myself, right? So that's actually how I came up on USANA. This is really going to date me. I answered an ad in a newspaper. And went to a presentation, and honestly, it just felt right. Like my dad always told me, you have to work hard. And I'm like, maybe there is another way. Like literally at the end of the presentation, I was so intrigued. I had my checkbook out and was ready to go. Started right then and there. And it was kind of different. I mean, the way we did it back then was obviously way different with, sending packets in the mail and sending audios in the mail and having to follow up. Like it wasn't so fast and easy like it is now. So we would take our our little packets and videos and a newspaper and send it out, and you'd have to follow up, you know, a week or two later, which was, the follow-up was just massive, massive. We talk about follow-up now, but the follow-up then was 10 times harder. So so answered it on the newspaper, started immediately. We did it more in a like an office setting at that point, to where we were doing 7 presentations a week. So every day at 5 and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7. So I got massive, massive, massive information in the first little bit of business. My first presentation, it was about a month in. And like I said, we were doing them 7 times a week, and then trainings on Saturdays. And they're like, it's your turn to speak. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My turn to speak. They're like, you've seen it how many times? It's your turn. And I was so scared. And the room was full, and I literally don't even remember what I said, but it was 15 minutes, the whole entire presentation. But everybody there signed up that day. And it wasn't because I was great. It wasn't because I got them all the information. I think it was because they could literally feel my excitement and my passion for building this business. So my first prospects in this business weren't actually my friends. It was my friends' parents and my grandparents. And believe it or not, my grandpa introduced me to my first gold director. So it's kind of fun. It's been like a wild ride, but obviously there's lots of, like you said, lots of ups and downs. But staying through the haul and knowing what you're really, really want and why you're doing this business is probably the most important thing there. So moving forward, went gold in like, it was really fast. It was like 6 months. But you said, when you were talking before about it takes this long to do this, and it takes 5 years, and and all that can be true. But I quit my job after 3 months because I had already replaced my income. But I was working like crazy. Like I would go into the office and my eyes were red. And they're like, you need to sleep. And I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm so excited. Like I would get up in the middle of the night and write people's names down that I had forgotten about. So it was just, I mean, you can do it fast. You can do it at your pace. I was single at that time, no kids, so I could completely throw my whole entire self into this business. And that's why it grew really fast for me. So Ruby was a challenge because you get your momentum build up, and then you're training, and then you kind of get off of phase 1, which we can talk about the phases maybe later, but
no, tell them about the phases now.
Okay.
Phases are so important.
All right. Well, there's 3 phases in your business. Phase number 1 is when you're actively out there, like present, follow up, approach, like you're doing that every single day, at least 4 or 5 hours a day. So that's your critical time that you're growing your business. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is, which I was just talking to you about, after you get your leaders and you're starting to help them grow and starting to manage and starting to teach and train and, motivate, like that, it kind of takes you off of phase 1 a little bit. And I have to say this, phase 1 is the only time your business is really, really growing. Phase number 2, you're kind of managing. Yes, it's growing, but phase 1 is where all the action happens. Phase 3 is where you're just training. You're just working with your people. You're not in phase 1 at all. So there's kind of 3 phases. And then there's a phase 50 when you're retired, right?
Yeah.
So back to story. So got married, had a couple kids, kind of went from phase number 1 to phase number 3, and was doing just full-time momming basically, and doing a few calls here and there, doing a few trainings here and there. And it was just a different phase for me, but I chose to be a mom instead of completely building my business like massive in phase 1. Got a divorce, which is, obviously crazy. People go through ups and downs in this. So I was able to build it also as a single mom and still being able to be a full-time mom. And that's probably the one thing that I'm most grateful for with having a USANA business is my kids they never went to daycare, ever, ever, ever. The only times that they would have a babysitter was on date night, and it was my parents, or when we were on vacation and it was my parents or sister. So they have no idea anything to do with, having to go to daycare, having to have anything like that. And I was also able, I told you I played sports before. I was also able to coach all of my daughters' basketball teams, volleyball teams, soccer, cheer. Oh my gosh, worst sport to coach, but we'll go over that story another time. But it was just amazing to be able to, just be a mom and be able to be there through all the ups and downs. Had a car full of kids all the time, taking them to events, hearing their stories. That's probably the biggest blessing that's come from this business. So anyway, went through a stage, got married again, had another baby, and got another divorce. Yay, life happens. Don't want to brag about that, and divorce sucks. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, but sometimes life just happens. So was single mom again and thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to work. So went back to phase one, started totally building my business, put all of my effort into something positive and healthy and, motivating, instead of being like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. I just completely threw myself back in the business. And that's when I went 2-star. So, and that was years and years and years later, years, So depending, I'll tell you this, it's easier to keep momentum going than it is to start again. Like once you hit that growth mode and your momentum is going, never stop. Keep always going, keep doing something in your business once you get to that point in life, because to start over is hard. Just keep the momentum going for sure. So just been able to retire obviously for years and be able to live out my dreams and raise my kids, and they're all grown now. And, I have 3 college students right now, which is awesome. And I couldn't be a prouder mom. And, just being lifestyle wise, just having the time freedom to be able to do that is such a blessing. So, been able to travel to, I don't even know how many countries. I'm currently right now in the middle of doing horses, which I absolutely love. I have Arabian race horses right now. We race all around the world, and it's just so freaking fun. And to be able to have the time freedom to be able to live like another passion that just brings me joy. So that's kind of before, a little bit during, and current.
Wow, you actually did that in less than 15 minutes.
Well, I didn't expand on any story.
Well, my takeaways is that at the beginning, you talked about phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3,
Yep.
and really, truly, how important it is to always have phase 1 going at some level. Even at where I'm at with my business, I know that I have the team I'm growing, but I've got to have some type of phase 1 happening, and the more the better. Sometimes it's harder, but if you're new and you don't have much of a team, then you've got to be all in on phase 1.
100% phase 1. Yep.
And then when you get a team, you still got to figure out how to have a good amount of phase 1 in there, all the time. So it's really cool that you said that. And then also my takeaway is that when you first started, obviously it was a different time, like a different era. So
Yep.
People were doing, but did you say 7 days a week presentations at an office?
Yep. We did them 7 days a week at noon and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30.
Okay.
But that's when you had to do everything in person.
Yeah.
It was just way different then,
Yeah, but it's interesting now with the Zoom age, because quite frankly, 2020, 2019 is when this platform of Zoom is now available. And as I'm studying the industry, I'm seeing network marketing teams doing Zooms daily with their presentation. I know one team that does it twice a day, once at 11 a.m. and once at 7 p.m., twice a day, 5 days a week.
Perfect.
Presentation,
Perfect.
and that's kind of what you were doing. Well, it is what you were doing in phase 1 with going in person. So it seems like we're in a position where we could almost duplicate that or explore that as a way to be in phase 1 again, which is pretty exciting, so thank you for saying that, because it's always cool to hear stories, because you get ideas, and things that we can do to build. But then also how cool it is to see that your USANA business was there for you when life happened, going through the divorces, the raising kids, and all the things that look, life happens to all of us, we all have our own challenges. I went through stuff with Crystal and her cancer stuff, and my mom, and all this, and it's thank goodness for our business, and you build it while you don't have a crisis, so that when you need it, it's there.
Absolutely.
And so can you share about some of like what have been like some of your big highlights from your business? Like how have the products impacted your health? What have you been able to do because of your success in your business? Can you share some stories like that?
Well, when I first started, I was 18 and thought I was invincible. So I'm like, products, whatever, show me the money, right?
Yeah.
So it was, it's definitely shifted over the years, but it was 100% business and money. Like I didn't feel like a huge difference when I started, but I was 18. Like I had plenty of energy. I was playing ball. Like, so the only thing that I didn't notice was I lost like a couple pounds, which a couple pounds when you're 18 means a lot, right? So, but then it started to, as I got older and with the products and saw what people were feeling and seeing like the results and people's results made my heart so happy to see people's lives change health wise. Like my grandparents getting on the products and my parents getting on the products, like they absolutely felt a difference. And so seeing their stories and seeing, you know, their health change, I just kept taking the products and thank goodness I did because I'm still extremely healthy. Like I'm still, you know, pretty fit and, you know, I haven't had any real issue. And even my parents have been on the products for 27 years and they're really healthy. Like it's one of those things that I just feel super blessed and the products do work. I could tell you a million stories on how the products work and how they've changed people's lives. So, but anyways, the older I got, the more that I could feel with the products. Like I never go a day without them, but once in a while I'll miss and I'll be like, why am I dragging today? And it's because I didn't take my products in the morning. So, you know, for me now I can tell a massive difference. If I miss a day, I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's going on here? So, and then what else did you ask me as far as
Um, so
business?
one question on the health thing, how have the products impacted your kids' health too?
Same. I mean, they've been on them since I had them on Nutrimel at 6 months instead of formula, you know? So,
You
but
can do that?
I did. I didn't ask. I just did it. I know what's in there. So yeah, they've been on that they've just been on them forever. And obviously they've played sports and been at the top of their game and varsity sports. And so, yeah, they've just been on them forever and they're really healthy. I mean, they get sick maybe once or twice a year. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
really cool. Okay. So that it seems like y'all have just had really good health,
yep.
like which is a huge blessing. I mean, because people struggle with health a lot and y'all have
Yeah.
not really had that. So that's like such a big blessing. And the other question was on the business. Like, what are some of the highlights with your business, like things you've been able to do because of your business that you'd like to share?
Well, first is being able to be with my kids full time.
Mm-hmm.
Second would be just the ability to meet so many people around the world. Like some of my best friends I would never know besides being in this business. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, I think that people is probably my favorite thing. Being able to travel the world. I have businesses in all of our countries that we're open in, and being able to travel and, you know, just kind of see how they live and just their culture and I love the people. I love meeting those people. And, you know, like I said, you don't even know your best friends yet.
Yeah.
So, and then the last would probably go along with that, being able to travel and have the time freedom to do it. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
now with, you know, being able to be with my horses and take care of them. And my kids are grown now. So, you know, have to have some more babies, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. So your horses. So I've heard that having horses is really expensive.
Oh my heavens. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah. But I love it. And they
Well,
race, so it's
that's
fun.
great though that you have that option, you know, to be able to have horses and to pursue that dream. And you know, that's like part of why you do a
Yeah.
business, so you can do things like that. So
Yeah. Well, and before that, I mean, that's just a recent thing. That's only been the last like maybe 3 or 4 years. Probably
okay.
we're probably getting to 4. But before that, it was boats and travel with the kids and water
Yeah.
skiing and jet skis and four wheelers. Like it's just everything's just kind of progressed. It's just where I am currently.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Well, then you can prospect the people that you'd work with on the horses and all the other people who own
Absolutely.
horses, and that's
Absolutely.
good. That's
Yeah.
good clientele,
There you go. There you
right?
go.
So Yeah, it's really because you can take your business wherever with your hobbies. I know I've
Absolutely.
done that as well. All right, so we're going to open it up for questions. So anybody
Okay.
who has a question for April, type it in the chat here on Zoom. And if you're watching on Facebook, I can see your question and I will ask it for you. So all of our Facebook people that are watching, hello to you. All right, so let's open up the chat. And while we're waiting for the questions to come in, I'm going to ask another question, which
Okay.
is, what's one of the moments that was kind of like a hard moment in your business where you thought about quitting, but then obviously you didn't quit? So, like, can you share with us one of those?
Yeah, I would say the hardest one was going through my first divorce and deciding like what to do with the business and all of that. And yeah, so split up. My ex-husband decided he was going to go to another company and took 3 of my diamond directors with him that were in my downline. And
Oh,
it absolutely crushed my business. I went from diamond director to freaking gold director overnight.
mhm.
And like just like the like feeling like humiliated, going, this is on my badge and this isn't what I am, and just having like going through that just it was devastating. And then just going, you know what, I don't care, I'm do it again, and did it better even the next time by myself.
Mhm.
So that was definitely hard.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's something that you don't anticipate ever having to go through with your
Yeah.
business or in
Yeah.
a relationship.
Yep.
And you know, the resolve. I mean, like life happens at every level of this business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the fact though that you made the decision to persevere and still can continue to build a successful business, which not only did you do that, but you went on to 2-star as well. So
Yep.
it's even gone bigger. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Phyllis Walker asks, do you still do presentations?
I do more so. Here's the thing. I love to do it in person still. If I can get in front of somebody and do a presentation is my absolute still favorite way to do it. Like
Uh-huh.
Zoom, you can kind of feel that, but when you sit down with someone and you can feel their energy and like know like they're really getting it, like you can feel that they're getting it. And so my favorite way still is live if I can, but it seems like, with everything going on, I can honestly say since all of this coronavirus stuff, I have not done a presentation
Okay. So you like to do them live though, when you can.
when I can.
And, Zoom would be a second
Yep.
option if you couldn't meet them live.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So my dad, Randy Krebs, asks, how are you currently building your business? And what are your thoughts on this year having the virtual convention?
Um, I'm not really building my business right now. I should be. I literally, the last 3 months has been 100% horses. So currently I'm not, but usually like if I find a prospect or, whatever, of course if they ask me about the products or ask me about business, I am going to tell them, but I'm not out there actively like, okay, I'm doing this right now.
Hmm.
So like I said, there's a bunch of different phases. I'm in 50 right now.
Yeah. That's okay. And we
Yeah,
appreciate your honesty.
yeah,
I mean, that's kind of part of why you build a business like this too, is that you have that time when you build it right. So,
yeah.
um,
And then virtual convention wise, it's killing me because like I said, a lot of my best friends are in USANA, and not to be able to be there and give them a hug or a kiss or
yeah,
pat on the back or, just like I said, that great energy that's created during that time that we all
yeah.
get to share together.
Hmm.
So I think it's going to be awesome. I think it'll be obviously way different, just because not feeling the energy. I mean, maybe we will. I don't know. Like this is our first time trying this, so we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And for all those that are new on the call, this is a do not miss ever in your lifetime career. Always, always, always be at our international convention.
Absolutely. That's the most important event of the year.
Yep.
And we would normally right now be in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
This would be
Exactly.
day
I
one
would,
of
I would already be hugging you guys. We'd already be
oh,
going out. Like, yeah, it's
seriously, yeah.
crazy. It's
Like
crazy.
this would be day one. We would be like,
Yep.
hanging out at the Salt
Yep.
Palace, going to training stages. And I
Yep.
mean, we're all like
Just
dying that
on
we're
our
not in
best. I
person.
know.
But I have to say, especially for those of you who are new, like next year we're going to do that. That's what we always do. This is not a normal thing.
Yep.
We're doing the best we can, right? I mean, USANA's doing the
Absolutely.
best they can. I mean, no one wants a pandemic, but this is still a big opportunity for us to invite people, invite clients, invite people who could not normally go or invest to go to
Well, and
convention.
the best part about it too, I think, is everybody's home. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be there and they're gonna be able to watch it because everybody's home. So
Yep.
I think it's a great thing. They're gonna have the time to do it. I think people are looking forward to it for sure.
100%. So, I want to encourage everybody watching on Facebook and on the Zoom call to invite people today. Invite as many as you can. Officially, it starts Friday, but there's the VIP sessions actually are available today. So if you paid your $19.95, you can actually access some of the trainings today and watch them and get warmed up. So take advantage of that. And the last thing that we want to say to end the call, April, is number one, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. I know you don't have to do that, but you're a team player. You always have been, and you've always been so willing to help, and we really appreciate you.
Oh,
And
my pleasure. Thank you.
yes. And what is your final piece of advice to everybody watching?
Never quit.
Never quit. Well, you're the best example of that. 27 years with USANA. Never quit. So thank you so much for sharing. That's a great, very concise piece of advice, but it's really true, I mean, it really is. And, sometimes less is more, like you don't have to have a long presentation. You did that 15-minute presentation. You signed everybody up, really, really great stuff. Thanks for being a great example, a great friend. I love you. Yes. And we're going to unmute the lines and everyone say thank you, April, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, April. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, April. Have an awesome
Thank you,
day. God
April.
bless
Have
you.
an awesome day.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome. See you
Have an
later.
awesome day. Bye.